Hi, welcome to the series of SAML SSO guides for enterprises. My name is Marcio, and I'm a solutions engineer. In this video and in this series of videos, we are going to touch the most commonly asked questions in this realm. In this video specifically, we're going to talk about how the SAML SSO helps to protect our intellectual property. So my hope is that by the end of this video, you are going to be able to understand better how SAML works and how does it protect your IP. So let's get started. So firstly, let's take a look at the prerequisites for this guide. You have to be using GitHub Enterprise Cloud platform, the non-enterprise managed users version. Also, we are looking to the SAML 2.0 standard, so your IDP has to implement this one. And this guide is for users that have admin access, be it for organization or for the enterprise account. Intellectual property is a key and valuable asset to any business. And here at GitHub, you couldn't treat it differently. With GitHub Enterprise Cloud, you can maintain access controls of your private repositories using SAML SSO. But how does it work without SAML SSO? So without SAML SSO in your GitHub Enterprise Cloud, you can invite users to your GitHub Enterprise account or your organization account through the basic authentication. By leveraging SAML, you ensure that only authorized employees have access to your code base, while they are still having a frictionless experience within GitHub. So that happens connecting your GitHub Enterprise Cloud organization or enterprise account to an identity provider. We're going to take a look on how does that work in the next part. So SAML SSO is this feature that enables your enterprise account, your organization account, to create a secure connection between your identity provider and your GitHub Enterprise Cloud. So how does that work? So when we enforce it, when you enforce your SAML SSO for your organization, you're actually saying, hey, only the GitHub members that have linked their personal account with your identity provider are going to be able to have access to your GitHub Enterprise Cloud resources. As an enterprise or organization administrator, you are able to verify the linked SSO identity of a user and verify if that's granted or not. What you're also able to do is to revoke that access. So that might make sense when a user doesn't belong more to the company and is leaving the company, doesn't need access to those resources anymore. So how does it look like at GitHub? So I have this organization here, and I have inside this organization the People tab. In the People tab, I have access to the members who are part of this organization. If I click on one of those members, I can see this SSO identity linked section. Clicking on it, I have the linked SSO identity, which is related to the identity provider that I have linked to here. And also I have the access to active SSO sessions, where I could go ahead and revoke a session, for example. I also could revoke the SSO identity, and this user wouldn't be able to access this organization anymore. So now let's delve a bit more on the subject of the programmatic access and the SSH keys. How are those impacted once I enable or enforce SAML? So as you might be familiar, programmatic access at GitHub is done through personal access token. Both personal access token and SSH keys, they belong to a user account. They're associated to a user account. So these users actually will have to authorize these tokens and these SSH keys if they want it to continue working as previously after SAML is enabled and enforced. So this is a process that has to happen, and is an extra protection actually. So to ensure you don't have unknown SSH keys usage or lingering personal access tokens once you go through this process of enabling and enforcing SAML. Now let's take a look hands-on on how to authorize a personal access token. So I click here on my user account, I go under settings, and going into developer settings and finally personal access tokens, I'm going to have access to my personal access tokens, the ones that I created so far. What is interesting here is that inside each and every personal access token, you also have the option to configure SSO. Configure SSO means exactly that, authorize those personal access tokens. So let's say I want to authorize for this organization. Clicking on authorize is going to redirect me to the identity provider of that that's configured for that organization. So if I click here on continue on the single sign-on process, it's going to redirect me to the IDP, which I already signed in this process. And it's going to prompt me right after if I want to authorize the credential access to this organization. So I'm going to continue on that. clicking on that and continue completes the process of enabling and authorizing this personal access token. So lastly, if you have contractors working in your company, you probably have them assigned to the role outside collaborator. So the outside collaborators are not members in the sense that they have access to one or more of your organization repositories, but they are not fully members, not part of teams. So there are two options actually to add in these outside collaborators to your GitHub Enterprise Cloud and to giving access to our resources. So the first option is to actually giving granular access to those repositories, to the resources. So you add them individually to each repository where they want to give access then to. And the other option is to add them to your identity provider. So you manage that from your identity provider, and they're going to be part of GitHub actually as members. That's really nice because it actually gives the flexibility that you need to allow outside collaborators in one fashion or the other. Great. So thanks for watching.